Right. Looks like we are live. Welcome, everyone, to IoT Happy Hour. I think this is actually episode number 10, so we've reached double digits. Today, we are going to be building one of our most popular projects, balenaSound. I'm joined by our usual cast of characters. You want to go ahead and introduce yourself, Andrew?
Sure. Can y'all hear me all right?
Yep.
Cool. Hi, I am a blank balena screen apparently, named Andrew.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. Should I stop sharing? That is this completely like just a blank screen?
I'm seeing a balena background. Yeah, what's going on here?
Right on. Well,
There you go.
hey
There
everyone,
you go.
I'm Andrew.
You're back.
Just doing some live
Live troubleshooting.
troubleshooting. Because why not? That's what we
Yep.
do. I lead content at Balena. Have fun with these guys, making awesome videos, project content for you all the time.
All right. Alan, you're up.
Oh, hey everyone. I'm Alan Boris. I'm one of the hardware hackers here at Balena, making cool projects to demonstrate the platform. And looking forward today to following along. I'm going to also do a balenaSound build as well.
Very cool. Chris, you want to say hello?
Hello, everyone. I'm Chris. I'm lead hardware hacker at Balena. I didn't know we could actually follow along, so I'm looking forward to building a balenaSound today too.
All right. And Phil, you're next on the list.
Hi, I'm Phil. I'm also one of Balena's hardware hackers, and I didn't know that I could follow along, but I might just try and rip something apart that was doing something else and follow along ad hoc.
Awesome.
It's
and I'm
set the trend there.
Yeah, definitely. And I'm David, developer advocate here. And I am going to have to see if I have a spare device to follow along as well. I may have to do the same as Phil and rip apart perhaps my air quality monitor, but we'll see.
You mean you don't have like 5 spare pies sitting on your desk?
I have 5 pies on my desk, but
lives
they're all
like
doing
that?
things.
Yeah, what kind of madman
Oh.
has 5 pies lying around?
Yeah, who
17
would have
pies lying
5?
around.
Who would have
Chris?
17 Raspberry Pis?
Most of them are in fold for COVID, but there are like 3, 4, 5, and an upboard on my desk.
An upboard? What's an upboard?
Opposite of a downboard.
It's no, not the upboard. It's the Tinkerboard. It's an Asus Tinkerboard.
Oh, cool.
very
I haven't
cool.
actually tried it yet.
Oh, all right. Well, very cool. So looks like we've got some people getting connected and getting joined in. I see Matthew, who,
The beard.
if
It's
you
been a
happened
few
to
weeks.
watch last week, he did an amazing rendition of Blackbird. So if you haven't seen it yet, definitely go check out last week's episode. It's in our IoT Happy Hour playlist on the Balena YouTube account. Thanks for joining, Matthew. Chris has a lot more beard last time I
Matthew
saw.
has some mad live demo skills. So actually the bar is like really high for me today. I'm actually kind of scared. I'm like, holy crap, how do I compare to Matthew's like flipping from screen to screen, like using all the things. And I'm like, oh man, how do I live up to that?
Last week was pretty much peak IoT Happy Hour. I'm not sure how we're ever going to top last week's performance, so I'm a little nervous actually.
We top it by doing a balenaSound demo and having it
that's
not
exactly
work.
right. Yeah.
For the hijinks.
So Chris, you showed off a little bit of hardware. I got a new toy as well. I got a power hat that has an integrated fan as well, and it has, this will be a little bit difficult to show if I can get it on edge just right. It takes a barrel jack input, so you can then put it on top of your Pi and run your Pi off of a barrel jack input, which then frees up your USB-C port.
It's like what the Fin has built in.
Essentially, yes. It also has a power output rail and an on-off switch, a proper switch.
Cool.
Yeah, so you don't have to just yank the cord. So this is pretty neat. And the reason I got this was because I wanted to do a little bit of experimentation. Andrew, can I do screen share? You're not currently sharing, right?
I am not. The screen is yours
Okay.
to take over.
Let me do a quick screen share, and I'm going to show what I was experimenting with. It's just a static image, so I apologize. I could not do this live. But can you take a glance at that? Anybody seeing a Windows screenshot?
Yeah, like your control panel settings.
Yeah, if you look real close at it, you'll see that the processor is a BCM 2711 ARM Cortex A72. So essentially, using some community software run by Andre from VMware, I can actually drop a link into the YouTube description, but you can now run Windows 10 native ARM build on a Raspberry Pi. Now, admittedly, performance is not great, not surprising, but I wanted to give it a whirl, and sure enough, it fired right up. It worked. So turn off that screen share, but I thought it was pretty cool.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah, so that was my...
People in the chat are asking, who makes that hat?
That I bought on Amazon. I'm not entirely sure who the vendor is. It's simply called Pi Power Hat, and the brand name on it is You Geek. Let me find it in my Amazon history while Andrew gets underway with his build, and I'll drop it into the YouTube comments so anyone can grab one. It's a pretty neat little thing. I love the on-off switch. That's the best feature. All right. Anybody else get anything cool this week?
I want to show off my project.
Show it off.
Yep.
Show it off. Let's see it.
It's this little screen Kat and I have been working on. So you remember Kat from a few episodes ago?
Mm-hmm. We'll get her back on.
It's a Pi Zero in a custom case with the Moroni Inky Fat. And we've got it set up so you can either send a message through Balena Cloud, or if you don't have a message set, it just picks a random inspirational quote off the internet. So it's quite a cool thing just to have sitting on your desk, and then every time you sit down to start work every day, there's a different quote there. So it's one of these e-paper displays, so you'll see it's not plugged in right now.
That's pretty interesting. I don't use Kindles or e-paper stuff all that often, but how's that text persisting if it's not plugged in?
Well, so it's the technology of the e-paper display means once the pixels are set in that like orientation or set with that image, they don't require any power to maintain that.
Oh, that's cool.
You can just plug it in, it updates, and then you can unplug it, and it's like if you like the quote, you can unplug it and it'll just stay there for weeks. But what we thought was cool was you can have a fleet of them on Balena Cloud, and they all display the same thing. So if it's like you could have one on your desk and send one to like a friend or one to a family member, and like so every day you all see the same quote. So it's kind of a thing that like glues people together even when they're apart.
That's super cool.
Your adoring fans want to know how they can reproduce that.
Oh, there is a repo. Hang on, I need to find the link. I wasn't prepared for that.
Well, if you're going to show something off, you know people are going to ask how to duplicate the build. But yeah, you know, with that said, while you're looking for that, we'll certainly turn it into a proper blog post with a full tutorial and walkthrough. And as you mentioned a moment ago, you were working on that with one of our other team members, Kat, who was on a couple weeks ago, but we'll devote an episode strictly to that project. Same sort of scenario. We'll do a live build and walk through. That case, though, you just mentioned is 3D printed, right? So folks would be able to do, let me see, you would need the Pi, you'd need the Inky hat, and other than that, no additional hardware, right? The case is just, you know, if somebody has a 3D printer, they can go out and print it from the STL file.
Yeah, that's right. So in the repo that I'm just about to share, I've put the STL files there. So it is, and it's designed so the Inky Fat just clips into the front of the 3D printed case. There's no screws for mounting anything. There's just two in the bottom that hold the case together. So it's two parts. And then you'll see on the back, the USB socket is right in the center, which obviously isn't on the Pi Zero. So we found these tiny little micro USB boards on Amazon.
Very cool.
So you can solder it and relocate the port to the back.
Oh, okay. So soldering required. All right. Well, unless if you're not using that case, then you could actually just power up the Pi Zero from its normal position. Okay, got it. Well, we'll devote a.
I've just put the link in the chat there. But actually, when I'm developing it, I use the same display on a Pi 3 because it's faster. So you can just use it like that.
Oh, very cool. We need to make a 3D case for that. Yeah.
Hey, Chris, is there a size limit to the screen that you can use?
In theory, not. I mean, the Inky Fat is Pimoroni's smaller one, like the same size as the Pi Zero, but they do an Inky Watt as well, I think, which is like the same size as the Pi 3. And in theory, that should work too. Although it probably the code as it stands won't expand to the full screen.
So you could do like
Inky
ASCII
Watt,
art.
Inky Walk,
Inky Watt, as in like
Inky
W.
Watt.
Yeah.
Okay. Follow-up question: when are you gonna make me one? We're close friends.
Yeah. When do I get
I don't
one?
have one yet.
I need to do a bulk order of fats. Do I?
I look around and I see no Inky Shot project. I see no motivational quote. I don't feel motivated.
I feel like we need a public URL that we can send Andrew our own motivational quotes.
With a built-in buzzer.
I feel like I've let the team down. I'll get a production line going. We'll knock out like 10 of these.
Do people want a motivational quote with LED lights on it to tell them the status of their friend sending them the quote? Like, I'm angry at you because you wronged me this week. Here's an awful quote, and I'm going to buzz you and I'm going to send this URL to everyone I know to do the same to you.
I think you need a buzzer in that display.
I mean, if we've learned one thing on IoT Happy Hour, it's definitely include a buzzer in every publicly available project you make, obviously.
That's true. That's true.
Unbelievable.
Yeah. Speaking of that, I just wanted to also add I'm working on this is a prototype to allow you. It's a hard switch to allow you to now control your remote LED alerter from a hard switch. So you don't have to go through the trouble of finding the URL. You can just use this to control the LED alerter. And these two could be in different rooms, different cities, using Balena Cloud. As long as each of them has Wi-Fi access, they can be located anywhere. So we'll test that out. And the buzzer is back on, Chris, just so you know.
Awesome. That's all I wanted from life.
You've made his Friday. Good job, Alan.
Fridays, yep. All right. Well, those are some amazing projects you guys are building and working on. I am super impressed. Just a quick reminder to the audience, go ahead and put your questions into the YouTube chat. I'll relay them through to the team. I actually see one already came in from Matthias. Thanks for joining, Matthias. I see that you were asking about MDNS, and Matthew's already answering. So thanks, Matthew. Appreciate that. Chris, I don't know if you get a chance, if you can glance at that one while Andrew gets his build underway. So without further ado, I'd say let's take this away. I wanted to just quickly open up, we're going to build balenaSound. We're going to stream some music. What's everybody listening to these days? What's on your playlists? I'll go ahead and go first. I'll embarrass myself. I've actually got Justin Timberlake on repeat. I don't know why, I always do.
From the Trolls movie?
Yeah, absolutely. The kids watch it. I can't get it out of my head. It's just it's on repeat all day long.
I feel that. I've got some younger children, younger nieces. That's all they listen to. So that's how I get my JT fix as of late.
There you go. Nobody else listening to anything?
I've had Credence on today.
You had some Credence?
The classic.
Excellent.
I've had Disturbed on all day.
Fair enough.
I just have endless 80s pop hits streaming randomly. One hit wonders preferred, but
amazing.
The way to go.
Wow.
Chesney Hawks.
All right.
What's bummer is that I can't play popular music, right? Because this is on YouTube, and at some point, folks will
oh yeah, you'll get takedown requests.
screen it. and take it down. Well, they don't take it down now, right? They just turn off the audio for your video. So it's just gonna be us like moving around and like things are happening on
All
the
right,
screen. We
yeah,
don't want
let's
that
not
to
avoid
happen.
any.
That's like me in every
copyrights.
meeting we have as I try and work out how to turn my microphone on.
Yeah, you're right. I see you over there. You're like, yes, I agree. Yeah.
All right, and let's see here. So first and foremost, let's talk a little bit about what balenaSound is. balenaSound essentially turns your Raspberry Pi into an endpoint that you connect to your home audio system or your speaker output, whatever type of audio equipment you've got, and then you can stream from your phone or tablet or whatever type of device you're using over Bluetooth, using Spotify, AirPlay, or just whatever native application happens to be running on the device. So if I understand correctly, then what you're going to do is assemble the hardware, get the Raspberry Pi provisioned with its image from Balena Cloud. It's going to download some software, and then what? What happens after that?
Yeah. Take a couple steps back. Let's see. Got a couple here. We were only going to do one at first and show off just one. But I mean, balenaSound has the magic of having a multi-room feature. So technically, and maybe you've all seen that video that we have up, you can have 2 Pis connected to 2 separate speaker systems, syncing the audio perfectly. That's amazing. Unfortunately, the demo gods have deemed me to sit here in this one spot. So I'm going to try and set up, I am going to set up both of these Pis with balenaSound using our awesome new deploy with Balena button, which is amazing. And I'm going to set up speakers here. You can't really see them. Ooh, scary. Let's not do that.
Yeah.
But there's a speaker right here. It's Buddy is on the other side of it. And then I have a guitar amp below me. So in a way, I will show at least the audio sync, which is pretty magical. But for those of you who are following along on the stream, want to do this at home, yeah, you can give it a shot. The only thing I would say is make sure with whatever system you're using, unless you have a DAC for your Pi, you'll probably want to be using some sort of powered receiver for the best quality. I don't even think it works if you just use it straight up off the 3.5 millimeter, does it, Chris? The little audio port? You need some sort of amplifier, no?
No, it should work, like for like headphones at least. And
oh, okay. So I'm just picky. Yeah, that's per usual. I'm pretty picky about audio. So are these gentlemen. We spent like 2 hours troubleshooting my audio, apparently. Just kidding. It was like 10 minutes, but I appreciate it. It's all about quality here at Balena, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, as David said, if y'all want to follow along, tell me what I'm missing on this demo. I'm not watching the stream because I'm fully focused on this demo, so feel free to just shout out on the chat, and I'm sure one of the homies here will pick it up.
Yep, I am keeping an eye on chat now, so as Andrew proceeds through it, just drop your questions in and we'll get them relayed through.
All right. So we could put the single room project in the chat as well as the multi. Well, there are links to the multi-room, so using just this guide is probably more than enough for everyone. You have a couple ways of going about this. Prior to a couple weeks ago, you can git clone this project, download and install Balena CLI, sign up for Balena Cloud, set up a new app, push the code to the app at your devices. We've made that way easier, which is amazing. With this little function right here. So
yeah, I went through that post, I think it was just yesterday, and ripped out a whole load of instructions that we don't need anymore thanks to that cool button.
Yeah. So right now in my own application, I have other projects. I don't have a sound one, or I have this old multi-sound room from February. We're not using that one. So we're going to get started. Yoink. There we go.
I've just put a link to that blog post into the chat so folks can grab that.
So I already signed up for Balena Cloud. I already logged in, but prior to this, if you're not signed in, you'll probably have to log in via Google or GitHub, right?
Yeah, that's right.
And
If you're not logged in when you click the button, it'll either prompt you to sign in or sign up if you don't have an account already.
yeah, but this is pretty cool in that I'm immediately dropped into the application creation page. It'll default to naming it whatever the repo's named. You can name this whatever you want. You're not going to break anything. I'm going to be using Raspberry Pis. I'm all good to go. Create and deploy. And magically, I should be dropped into this new app. And you'll see a little build status thing appear right here in a moment. And in this application, all of the code that I need for the project is going to be preloaded. So any device that I add onto here, we'll grab that in a sec. So while that's building, let's add some devices.
Are you going to add us to the application so we can add our devices too?
Yes, sir. I should do that first, huh?
I'm just waiting for Phil to say, I've done mine already.
Yeah.
Damn it.
Phil with the best internet on the planet. I'm also dropping in a link to the GitHub repo.
I feel weird about typing in my
So
network
folks
credentials, so I'm going to change the screen for a moment.
Hold on, let me get a pen and paper and write those down real quick.
Cool. Yeah, I'll write it next to your Windows 10 key that I tried to scrape when you were showing off your control panel settings earlier.
Yep.
All right. So we'll download our image. Awesome. Get out of this. And then Chris, you'll have to walk me through adding a friend, another user.
Okay, so
Members,
it's members. Yeah, that's right.
Members.
All right.
And then
I want,
I am GH_crisis or crisis, whichever you
I
prefer.
read it as crisis.
Hang on, CHRISYS.
Why?
CHRISYS. That's it.
Oh. Here we go.
That's it. You got it.
All right. Who else wants in?
You can add me.
Alan? All right.
Yep. It's just Alan Boris.
Like that?
That is correct. Yep.
Cool.
Okay.
So I know we're all pals messing around with some audio, but imagine this in like the workplace. It's pretty amazing. You got something really neat. You want to prototype. You've got a quick way to deploy it into an application, and you've got a quick way to add your buddies so everyone can QA it and tell you how horrible your project is.
GH_.
GH_?
Yep. Phil.
Okay.
_D_Wilson.
Underscore what else?
With Will. That's it. No.
Underscore. Oh, okay, we're good. Okay.
That's it.
Cool.
So
Awesome.
now, Andrew, so do I follow along here, and then will I be added to yours? So how does that work? Do I build it from the same method that you are using the deploy? And then how would I join in to yours?
No, you should just start adding devices, and you will get the balenaSound project onto those devices that you add.
Okay, right.
But when we
now
stream, the streaming is local to you, right? So if I play Beyonce at my house, it's not going to pump Beyonce for everyone else.
No.
But it's kind of nice in that like people can join in on your project this way. And
yeah, it's a cool feature to be able to add collaborators. The deploy to Balena button makes it actually really easy. So it's, we've cut out a lot of steps there to really reduce the friction. In the past, without that button, Alan, you would have had to have gone through some steps such as the git clone and then the Balena push and download the containers that way. In that scenario, adding the collaborator makes it really easy to automate just joining additional devices in that manner. But now with that deploy to Balena button, it's pretty simple in and of itself.
Yeah, for sure.
So,
right now I'm going to fly. Oh, go ahead.
What is this? Yeah, well, I was just going to ask, what is this you've got going now? So Balena Etcher.
Yeah, so it's time to flash the card site. Prior to adding all the homies to the project, I downloaded the OS image for the device. So we're going to do that right now. One at a time. If I had Etcher Pro, could have done this all in one go.
Yeah, so David, I was just trying to clarify if I want to join the one that Andrew has shared with me, I don't need to go through the deploy from Balena. I just go into the app that now shows up with my applications, download the device from there rather than downloading it separately from the repository.
Yep.
Just to clarify, right? Cool.
Oh, sorry, I didn't answer your question clearly. My bad.
Yep, correct. All right, let me take a quick glance over at chat, see if we have any questions rolling in while Andrew is flashing that SD card. Let's see what we've got here.
My internet is so slow. I know that Phil's downloaded it and is flashing already, probably, and I'm still downloading. I feel like I'm losing the race.
He's probably already got 6 of them playing music in his house.
Do you want to go and look at the app in your dashboard and have a look what my Pi is doing?
What might we see if we look at the app?
Like most of my containers are down.
All right.
I don't remember the person's name on the Twitterverse, but whoever tweeted out that every time they use Etcher and it's flashing, they think of the Flash Gordon theme song. Like that has burned a hole in my brain. Like I am thinking of that Queen song right now as the bar's moving, just like dun 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 flash. Like, so thank you, internet person, for that. All right, we are all good. We've got our 2 because we're only using 2 today. Whoa, and that should not be there. One moment, please. Let's get rid of that.
Look at that device name.
Yeah. All right, so let's go over here. Actually, I mean, if you all want to see the action in action, SD card 1 goes in here. I don't have the amazing SD card flipping skills that you all have seen in that GIF. It's on like all of our projects.
Chris's hands.
I can try it if you want, Chris. Was it Chris or was it someone else, Chris? It's like someone's brother.
The Jetson Nano was me. The Pi is not me.
Ready?
We know it's you. He denies it, but we know it's him.
Oh, that's so hard. I can't do it. I was looking at the camera at the same time. No good. All right, so let's power these puppies up. And I realize everyone's probably like way ahead of me. That's fine.
Well, they're not having to live stream at the same time as doing the build, so
kind of have USB-C cords coming from every angle. This one's actually from my Nintendo Switch. So if anyone out there is wondering, hey, will my Nintendo Switch USB-C cord power a Pi? It will. Thumbs up.
Is that a 5? What's on the other end of it? It's not a 12 volt that goes to the Switch? You're about to
It's the Switch itself.
That thing. Oh.
No, it works. There was a fix that Chris and some folks put out. Yeah. And I remember getting the ping. Chris is like, oh, hey, by the way, you can now power your Pi off your Switch. Yeah. I was like, how'd you know I needed to do that?
Okay. I was just about to say, wait a second. You are about to incinerate that poor Pi.
No,
all right.
No way. Phil. Oh, yeah. There you go. Phil wins. Great.
Yet again.
And he's got 2 IP addresses as well. Look at that. What a show off.
What a fancy guy.
All right. So we see a second device coming online there. Oh, and a third. Now, what are those devices doing? What is that one saying? I'm trying to look a little closer. It says updating.
Yeah, so it's
what's going on there exactly?
So usually when you start from scratch and you haven't pushed your project code up via CLI, you add a device with a factory build because the code's already preloaded. Any device you add will pull the project code automatically. So as you all have seen, I haven't had Hyper or a terminal open or anything, so I haven't been pushing it. We just all did it when we hit the deploy with Balena button, which is pretty dope. So as you see inside Autumn Rain, we are grabbing all the container services that we need, and they're all downloading and will be installing soon. Unless you're Phil and you're already done, right?
Okay, so the build occurred in the cloud.
No, Andrew.
You didn't do anything local. You didn't have a terminal. You didn't, run a bunch of commands to compile anything. So all of that happened magically, automagically on the back end. You plugged in the device, it checked in with the cloud, and it said, hey, I see a bunch of containers are ready. So it started downloading them. Do I have that correct?
Yep.
Cool. All right. Well, that makes it easy.
So wait, have you added any, Chris or Alan?
Mine is downloading. I used an off-brand SD card as a cautionary tale to show people that you shouldn't do that.
Excellent.
So
Excellent.
it's taking a little bit longer, but I'm almost there.
It's all right. That's what we're here for.
Flashing. That's how slow my internet is.
That's what we're here for at Happy Hour, showing you what not to do mostly,
but
also what to do. I think the ratio is somewhat like 80-20, what not to do and what to do to succeed, which is pretty good.
All right. These are valuable lessons learned. I mean, for people that are going to go out and deploy in bulk into enterprise situations, just watch our stream and learn what not to do.
Yep.
I'm just here to point out how much more productive you are when you don't have to wait for your internet.
Yeah, yeah. We all don't have what do you have? Gigabit up and down?
Yeah.
It's pretty amazing.
Fiber into the router.
Yeesh. I have less than a tenth of that. Speaking of internet connectivity, Tomas, who's not on the call, just put out his project, turn a Pi into a Wi-Fi access point or repeater. That thing's awesome.
Yep.
I live in Oregon. When it's not raining, it's actually amazingly sunny, and it's been awesome to set that project up and boost my Wi-Fi signal out into the yard. And so I can like put a chair out on the yard and bring my laptop out there and actually have enough connectivity to watch videos, or I mean work, watch videos. You just kind of like extend your work from home options, which is pretty neat. So if y'all haven't checked that out yet, please do.
That just went live today, didn't it? Or yesterday?
Yesterday, I believe. Give it a shot.
New. I'll put the link to it into the YouTube chat so folks can try that out.
And we also want people to try it too, because everyone's situation is different. You know, you have the laws of physics affecting Wi-Fi, depending on, you know, where you live, what it's constructed out of, what your home's constructed out of. So it's pretty cool to get more testers and kind of see how we can push that project to its limits.
Yeah, that's one of the things that inevitably my kids try to take their tablets and go out into the backyard or into the front yard and continue, you know, talking or doing whatever. And of course, it always drops their.
It's also super important at the moment with lots of people obviously working from home, but like my eldest son is having to do his schooling from home via video link, and he wants to do that wherever he wants to do it, in the house and in the garden when it's a nice day. And we've found quite a few points where Wi-Fi doesn't quite give you enough bandwidth. You know, you've got a bit of connectivity, but you haven't got enough to hold a video chat over.
Yeah.
So I'll be building that project this weekend for sure.
Official hand steamer. I wonder who
I
that is.
just put official hand steamer. I just put the link to Tomas's blog post into the YouTube chat. So yeah, it would be great if folks could give that a try.
I think what I'm going to try and do is combine it with a balenaSound and then have a Wi-Fi repeating balenaSound in the garden and try and waterproof it and connect it up to a permanent speaker and have a garden speaker with Wi-Fi.
Ooh, I like the
There you
sound
go.
of this.
Yeah.
Yeah. Tomas's last name is Migone. We called it the Migone Special. You just like cram a bunch of his projects all into one Pi. Shout out to the Migone Special.
Phil, if that ends up working, we may need to devote some airtime to that in the future, actually.
Yeah, I think that'd be like when lockdown eventually ends. I imagine lots of people are going to want to have parties in their back garden and barbecues and all of that. And I was thinking, I'm definitely going to do that. And I really want to have multi-room audio, so people go in and out of the house. It's the same song playing completely in sync, like we're about to see.
Yeah.
And then also I want Wi-Fi connectivity out into the garden and no black spots. So I think that's like a build to waterproof it and have it with a speaker and have the Wi-Fi reach out to the garden. That'd be cool.
Yeah, definitely.
For sure.
So Andrew, it looks like your downloads are complete here.
Yeah. So if anyone was watching, or if you haven't used Balena Cloud all too often, it's kind of nice to have this blink LED feature when you're working with a bunch of different Pis, because Let me see if I can situate this properly. So click here, switch over to here. Do you see that one blinking?
Yep, sure.
It's kind of
can.
nice to have, because if you have a bunch of different devices that you're troubleshooting on or working on, and you don't have them labeled or in cases or whatever, it's kind of neat to have that ability to know what's from what, and that allowed me to name them properly, because I use these highly contextual names of Andrew 1 and Andrew 2. So I can know which device is which. All right, so now we're on to adding our speakers. So let's do this. So let's have this one get hooked up to the guitar amp down here that I already have pre-warmed up. So I've got 3.5 millimeter into audio out, into a little adapter for my amp. One moment, please. Hopefully I don't blow anyone's ears out.
Uh-oh, turn down your volume, everybody.
We're good. We're good. And then I've got this other Pi. We'll do the same thing. Don't cross the streams, Ray. And that is hooked up to my receiver. That's right next to here. Y'all can see that right here.
Yep.
That's hooked up to a couple speakers. So what we're going to do is now test the Spotify sync, since that one's always the fun, magical moment. So I have it set on jazz rap, because why not? And usually you're picking between your computer or like other devices that you have hooked up to your network. As you can see here, both of those Pis now show up on Spotify's connected device. There's actually a little bit of competition here, because I've got these two gray industrial looking cylindrical shaped speakers from a certain brand in my garage and living room. And you can imagine, there's a hefty price to pay for those per unit. You never know when they're going to stop being supported, apparently. And they only look a certain way and come in like 2 or 3 different colors. What I like about balenaSound is that if you're an audiophile or you enjoy just having nice design aesthetics at home, you can pretty much hook these up to any kind of speaker that you want. Maybe you have a immensely wealthy relative who donates their system every couple of years to the kids, right? All of a sudden you can Bluetoothify, the older stuff that maybe doesn't have that functionality, and have a lot of customization and control over it, which is cool. So what's also neat is that if you target one, so hook up, cool, start playing, let's just pick a random song.
So we can see Spotify, but I'm
There
not.
you go. Hold on, give it a sec.
Aha.
Yeah, got all kinds of latency going here. Live streaming an audio demo, which is kind of funny to me.
Yeah.
Can you all hear that? Ish, a little bit.
Yeah, it's coming in now.
So those are coming out of the speakers from the left and right.
Yep, it's working.
And then I'm going to add the guitar amp, which is synced to the other balenaSound device. That's gonna get all kinds of loud in here.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. And I'm gonna turn off one of them. I mean, now the one that's on is the amp below me on the other Pi. I mean, that is just as synced as it gets. And I know that for me, that's like a really magical moment where you're like, wow, all that audio is synced. You see in the video that Tomas and I created, he was walking around like to that little pool house from one end to another. The audio is perfectly in sync. I did the same thing around. I wish I could do it here live on the demo, but both devices are piping Spotify in sync. And yeah, so imagine, how you can extend this out. Maybe you're not a loser like me and you're just hooking up 2 separate systems in the same room.
Well,
but instead you're hooking up your whole house, with just a bunch of spare Pis and cool speakers.
Some people in the chat have been, while you've been building, have been asking, because we're all joined to the same app, are we all going to get the same songs synced to all our Pis? And
no, it's local to your network. So whatever your network is capable of sharing, or if you're running if you're on your PC or laptop, and you discover the device via Bluetooth, you'll pipe that. So we can try syncing a YouTube video here, and only I will. Like we ran Steam Hams here. Actually, we won't do that because I think I was having Bluetooth issues. But yeah, to answer the question, it's local to your setup. So if Chris blasts Shell Crow, I won't be able to hear it, but all his devices that he has hooked up.
No, he said.
Oh,
who was it? Credence. Yeah, close.
Yeah.
Close.
So yeah, we can try a Bluetooth demo. Give me one moment. I don't know what's going on. And part of it has to do with I've rearranged my office a bit, and my main machine is within like a giant wood box. I don't know that. Darn you physics, that kind of moment. But let's give it a shot here. So you can't see this action, but I'm actually trying to hook it up via Bluetooth. In the meantime, feel free to...
Yeah, let me take a quick glance over at chat again and see if any other questions have rolled in.
There's another question that Chris is trying to answer in the chat, but it's probably worth saying it out on the feed as well, that people were asking, because I talked about combining some projects, and people are asking how can we run multiple things on the same Pi?
I think we may have a blog post for that. Hang on a moment. Let's...
Yeah, we do. It's turn your Pi into a multi-tool.
Yeah, let me grab that blog post and I will drop that into the chat as well.
We have the blog post that describes how to do it by merging compose files, like by hand. But what Matthias was asking was if we had a way to deploy multiple applications to the same Balena Cloud application without having to do that process. So I was saying that was something that we're working on.
Okay, so a little bit different, but I will still grab the multi-tool. Where is it?
Let's do the sync again, just for fun.
Multi-tool.
Here's device 1. Device 2 is down here. Oh, it's just like, it's all in sync. This is such a magical moment. I love it.
It is awesome when it works for the first time, isn't it?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Got it now.
Alright.
There we go.
Device
And I got the
2's
blog
down.
post one.
Device 1's down. Oh, it's just chef's kiss, Nice work, Chris, Tomas. Woo. And all. A lot of contributions from the community on that project, which, shameless plug, we need your help all over the place. So if there's a project that you've tried that you absolutely dig, come hang out, come hack on it. You don't have to be a official hardware hacker in residence at Balena to contribute. We dig any kind of help, any kind of fixes that helps make those projects better. And yeah, you never know, if you do an awesome enough job, but we love to have you on and show it off on the show.
Yeah, absolutely. Love having community guests join the stream. Matthew can attest to that from last week. The forums are a good place to ask questions. A lot of community members hang out in there as well. Even if you've got either bug fixes or features that you'd like to add, pull requests are always welcome over on GitHub. balenaSound is one of our more active projects. I think I checked the other day, and Chris, weren't there like 600 stars on that repo?
Oh yeah, that's right. We hit 600 stars on the balenaSound GitHub just the other day, which is awesome. So
yeah,
everyone for starting.
Yeah, so that one's really active. But of course, any other projects that you want to assist with, by all means, get your pull requests in. Love to review them. With that,
yeah, that does it. We accomplished what we were trying to do. I have a Pi hooked up to each of my separate, although right next to each other, speakers.
Yeah, that's all right.
But in essence, you all can see how awesome it is just to have your own custom, very private. I mean, it's all up to however you want to hook up music to it. Multi-room sound system through balenaSound.
It's pretty busy in the chat today. So the idea of adding multiple apps to the same Pi has caught people's imagination.
Ooh, okay.
It's probably worth saying that we've got quite a lot of stuff coming in our roadmap to do with that. So there will be announcements coming up about all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, don't be shy about piping up about your ideas too. We have the forums. I always bug Chris. I'm like, dude, when I'm done with this garden project, can I hook up a camera to it? Can I hook up like the Wi-Fi repeater to it? It's just like keep it going. I mean, that's the whole point of all this, is just to see how far we can push these devices and bringing awesome value to everyone.
Yeah, and I mean, some of the things that community members think of are topics or projects that we ourselves just never would have even really thought of. The one that comes to mind, I mean, it's relevant, of course, from last week. Matthew called out the balena storage array that he would build. So again, shameless plug for last week's episode. Go watch it on the playlist. But that's a neat project that I would have never even thought of. So yeah, would love to hear ideas. Just reach out to us, let us know.
So there's a question from Mark there. He says, I hooked up 2 different speakers using the 3.5 port without amplifier, but when I connect through HDMI, it works fine. So I think it kind of depends on how big the speakers are. Like the Pi isn't going to be able to drive huge speakers directly. But if it's like headphone sized, earphone sized, it'll be fine. As you found, the HDMI is an awesome way to get digital audio out as well. So you can still use balenaSound and use HDMI plugged into like an AV amp. And so you'll get the digital audio out of the Pi rather than the sort of fake analog audio you get from the 3.5 jack.
Yeah, so that's a good point.
Yeah, it's worth spending just a moment on before we close out the stream. You kind of glossed over earlier a term, Andrew, that I heard you say. What exactly is a DAC? What is a DAC hat? What does that enable or do?
I think Chris has more experience with DACs.
Oh, okay. Yeah, could be Chris.
Feel free to chime in.
Yeah, sure. Absolutely. Chris, if you want to.
Well, so a DAC is it stands for digital to analog converter, which in this scenario means that you're taking a digital audio output from the Pi and converting it into an analog signal that can be used by speakers or an amplifier. So the Pi isn't particularly well known for its high quality audio, although I personally find it's passable in a lot of situations. But say if you're using the Pi Zero, which doesn't have an audio output jack, you need a DAC hat, which takes the audio via I2S, I think it is. So that comes off the GPIO pins of the Pi into the DAC hat, and then the DAC hat itself does the digital to analog conversion of that signal. And then you can get some, like the Pimoroni ones have got the Pirate Audio range. They can drive small speakers directly, or they've got like a line out one or a headphone amp one, depending on what your use case would be. So there's a whole load of DAC hats.
Gotcha.
Because otherwise you won't be able to have stereo or surround, correct? You just have like one flat mono channel out of
the Pi is stereo out. It's just the way it sort of creates the audio signal is not the best.
Got it.
Okay. So I put into the YouTube chat a link to our documentation that shows which DACs are compatible with the project. So if folks out there are looking to build this project, you can go take a look at that documentation, that link I just dropped in, to see which ones will work out of the box, turnkey.
Something else I just thought of, I don't know, perhaps I missed it. Did we say that you don't have to have multi-audio? You don't have to have all of your devices syncing if you want to play different things in different rooms. You can turn it off. And the blog post about Balena, or the balenaSound landing site actually will tell you how to do that.
To turn off the multi-room feature and just run a single node or a single...
Well, I mean, then you can have different things in different rooms if there are different people listening to different stuff. They'll need either their separate Spotify accounts or do it through Bluetooth or AirPlay or whatever else. But yeah, you can have different things in different rooms.
You can mess with your roommate as long as it's Bluetooth discoverable.
Awesome. All right. Well, I think that's probably good. Let me take one last glance over at chat, see if there's anything rolling in there, any questions there. Looks like everything's been addressed and been answered. I want to put one shameless plug in for tomorrow. Myself and some of the hardware hackers, Alan, who's on the stream, is going to be joining me. Tomas is going to be joining me. We are going to participate in Virtual Maker Fair. So I've got 4 distinct sessions throughout the day. Let me grab the link and drop it into YouTube chat. real quick. There you go. So it's on their homepage right now. These are all talks that are going to be themed around current COVID-19 and coronavirus situation. So they're sort of like home hacks, and all of the sessions that Maker Faire is putting on are geared towards current situation. So we've got our LED alerter project, which Alan's got going right now behind him. We've got our Fold for COVID project, which you can grab information from foldforcovid.io. I'll drop that link in a moment. We're going to be showing off a thermal scanner project that Tomas built using a Raspberry Pi and a thermal imaging camera. And what is the fourth one? Phil, your project, the home calling system that you built using a Raspberry Pi and a typical USB webcam. So check those out if you're not doing anything tomorrow. Those are going to be some pretty cool talks as well. I'll tweet those out later as well.
Just on the topic of Fold for COVID, I just wanted to say a quick thank you to everyone who's contributed to that project, because like some days we're up to like 13th in the world on daily credit contributions to the Rosetta project, which is amazing considering like we only started doing that a few weeks ago. And it's just due to the generosity of thousands of people giving up their devices to run that software that we're able to do that.
Yeah,
5,600 devices as of today.
Yeah, so
Thank you.
Good shout out there, Chris. So I think that's about it for me. Anybody else got any last questions, comments?
No, I just feel this weird void where like we're not going to sign off with Matthew's acoustic guitar.
Yeah, you know what we need to do
clips.
is have them record it for us so we can just simply play it at the end of each stream. All right, everybody. Have a great rest of the day. We'll talk to you all soon.
All right. Have a good weekend, everyone.